Do you want to be part of something bigger? At Siemens, we use AI to transform the everyday. Our engineering solutions drive innovation and change. We're leading in technology and building a sustainable future. Join Siemens and make an impact to transform the everyday. Apply now and be part of something extraordinary. Visit siemens.co.in/careers.
Hey, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to the feelers that supported the podcast, starting with you, Zico, 5 Generous Coffees, and your comment there reads, "Thanks, Tinto. That vintage 24 part 2 was something else." Laughing emoji. Really got me thinking. Right and wrong keeps getting more and more blurred nowadays. You couldn't say it any better. And then, wow, somebody gave me 10 solid coffees. I don't know who you are, but yo, thank you so much. And your comment there reads, "Thank you for all you do. You're making a positive impact. We appreciate you." Ooh, thank you so much. I wish I knew who you were. And then Nelly, thank you so much again. 3 Generous Coffees, and your comment there reads, "Thanks for all the great work, Tinto. Here's something small to show my appreciation." Nelly, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, you could do 2 things, by the way. Head over to whatever platform you listen to the podcast on. Give it a rating of 5 if you feel I deserve that and the guests deserve that, because that makes our podcast more discoverable and drives the right traffic and, hopefully opportunities to have adverts, which mean money for my tiny pocket and my lovely little son. And then again, if you want to support in a similar way, please head over to www.buymeacoffe.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing too small to support the podcast. Yay, did you hear that choke? Did you catch that choke? There's nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. And with that out of the way, hey, let's get into this one. This one is a holiday vibes thing, and the sun here in the UK is fantastic. Perfect for this story, all to do with holidays.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here on the Feeling Station.
Hello?
Hello, hi, Tinto.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm alright. How are you?
You're sounding depressed before we even started talking about this. What the
It's
hell?
all in your head, Tinto. It's all in your head.
There
It's
you
all
go.
in your head.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
How can I be depressed? Thank you.
For those listening to this for the first time, this is a romantic family and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give you lessons from their experiences. And hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. Now, the podcast is popular for 2 main reasons, as you know. The first being, I do my best to keep my guests anonymous. So I'm going to give you the name you're going to use for the duration of the episode. Do you have your pen and paper ready?
Yes, I do.
So I've gone over to East Africa, in particular Ethiopia. And the name that I've got you is in Amharic, and the name is Maraki, which is Maraki. Now, where I come from, that's it means luck.
Yeah,
Hey, this person, Animaraki, but in Ethiopia, this actually means beautiful and attractive.
Oh, I can relate.
Hey there, what can you say? So yes, it means beautiful and attractive. And what are you calling the person you're talking about for the duration of this episode?
I'm calling the person Lou, short for Lucifer. No, Lucifer was a good angel.
Lucifer was a good angel, yeah? Until when?
Yeah.
What? Until he decided.
Until he became Satan.
Wow. Do you know what's funny? I was saying this with a friend of mine just the other day. When you say Lucifer, it's actually a beautiful name.
It is.
Lucifer, it actually rolls off the tongue nicely. It sounds gracious. It sounds, graceful.
It is.
Elegant.
But you can't call your child that name.
But the spirit or whatever it's associated with, it's a danger. Okay, so Lou, short for Lucifer.
Lou.
Okay, so the story is about Maraki and Lou. And the second reason why the podcast is doing really great, and by the way, we're approaching 1 million downloads and streams. In fact, I think we're going to hit it before the end of the year.
Wow.
And part of this, I think, has got to do with the lessons that people go away with. So what lessons do you have for anybody listening to the story you're going to share today?
Okay, the first lesson that I have is never put anyone on a pedestal.
Yay. If I was to tell you who says that regularly in my life, I won't say it because I'll get my head chopped off. But they always say never put anyone on a pedestal. So, that really resonates. Okay. I got a second lesson?
Yeah, the second one is stop living in the past. The person you knew yesterday might not be the same person tomorrow. People change.
Ooh, I really, really, really like that. And did you have a third one?
Third one is men know what they want. No matter how shy or reserved they are, they don't need your help.
Yay! Do you know what? I think this actually goes for women too.
Yeah.
I think people in general know exactly what they want, and they don't really need your help. I mean, they might need your help if they know they want something else, but they need a bit of push from you to give them a reason to leave. You know, then
exactly. Not figuring out what they want. They don't need help. They don't need help with that.
Okay, so I'll just play those back. Lesson number 1, never put anyone on a pedestal. Lesson number 2, stop living in the past. The person you knew yesterday might not be the same person tomorrow. People change. I think this is one of the reasons a lot of relationships actually break now. Because people change and people don't recognize the change, and you're not in tune with each other. And the person you were 5 years ago is easily not the same person you are today.
Exactly.
Okay. And then last but not least, men know what they want, and no matter how shy or reserved they are, they don't need your help.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get straight into it then. So is this a romantic breakup, family, friend? What kind of breakup are we talking about?
It's a romantic.
Hey,
I think it's a romantic.
You think it's romantic?
It's showing me flames.
Did you say you think it's a romantic breakup?
Yeah.
Well, were they not your boyfriend?
Okay, can I get into the story?
Okay, let's go for it. How did you and Lou connect, and why did you feel, I'm going to give Lou a chance?
Okay, so I met Lou when I was 15. And Lou was this kind of guy who had an, I'd say SRB. You know what SRB is, right?
Yeah, but remember, my audience is international, so what's SRB?
Like a strong rural background.
Strong rural background.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were kids. Like, he was only a year older than I am. So I was 15, he was 16, and I was from town. He was in the rural areas. So when we met, like, it was at a camp, youth camp, like church camp, and he would always like try and talk to me, giving hints about how much he likes me. Like, he never really was direct in saying it, but he would show it. Like offering to do things for me, always being there for me. You know, you could tell this guy really likes me, but he never really like said it directly. And then for me, well, I was young and I didn't really think it could be something. So I just kept on. I think I kind of friend zoned him. Like, I don't know it was friend zoning by then, but somehow we ended up being friends. And for the longest time, we kept in touch. And then he moved from the rural areas to another town, which was closer to where I stayed as well. So I don't know, time just kept moving. We kept in touch until we were like in our 20s. We just became close. And so I would travel to his town on my way to go to another country, like a neighboring country, and I would catch the bus there, and he would do all the bookings for me. He would just play boyfriend duties, but not as a boyfriend. And so it just went on and on like that for years, until like I would even get into a relationship and he would know about it, but he would even play like more of the boyfriend duties than the current boyfriend. That's just how it was. And then I think in 2019, so rewinding back to when we were kids, before he moved to town. Sorry, I have to take you back. Where I was staying and where he was staying was like 8 kilometers apart.
Mm-hmm.
And back then we had no phones, we had no cell phones. So, and Kumusha still, sorry, I'm using my native language. There was no way of communicating except walking to my place for him to see me. So chances were like he could walk the 8 kilometers and find me not there, walk back again the 8 kilometers and try again the next day. That's how it was. So this other holiday, when I went home for the holidays, it was the rainy season. It was in December, I remember. And there was a river that you had to cross to come to my place, and it was full. So this guy tried to cross the river. He did, but he almost drowned.
Yay.
He was young. He was 16. He tried to cross the river and he almost drowned while he was coming to see me. And by the time he got to my place, he was all wet and stuff. And yeah, that's what happened. So what would happen now as time went by and we were growing older, he would always say, you know what, I don't think there's anyone who's ever going to like sacrifice for the way I always sacrifice you, because I literally almost died for you coming to see you. I tried to cross. Yeah, you know, all that thing. Like, and he would also say, I don't think I will ever connect with anyone or I'll ever like or love anyone the way I did you, because I've never done anything like that for anyone, you know. So that's just how we ended up going on and on as friends like that. And then at some point, I started a farming business, and I would grow tomatoes in the greenhouse and stuff. And then he would drive from this town, which was like 3 hours away, to come and buy stuff from my garden. Like, not that there wasn't any stuff in his town, but he'd actually, you know, call to say, I'm coming to buy this and this from you. Like, he was that supportive. And well, in my head, like, you know, the lesson that I was saying, men know what they want. Don't assume or think they need your help. Because in my head, I was like, wow, this guy is always making these sacrifices for me. He's always, you know, doing the most without me even asking. So at one point, I then moved to another town, which was further away from where he was, and he would still come to that town. So this particular time, 2019, he came to this town, just said, you know, I just came to see how you are. I haven't seen you in a long time, blah, blah, blah. So then I was talking to this other female friend of mine, and then she says, you know what, Maraki, this guy really likes you.
Yeah.
And I think he's just a shy person. If you guys don't do anything, like, you just not gonna discover what could have been, because it's so clear you guys are in love with each other, but you're not just doing anything about it. I'm like, oh, he really hasn't asked to be in a relationship with me. He's only talking about how he crossed the river for me and how he genuinely likes me, but he's never asked me to be his girlfriend. So this girl says, you're okay, you know what, maybe we can, this friend of mine, you know what, just do a gesture that shows that you see his efforts, you see what he's trying to tell you, you know, like buy him a present or something. So bought him a diary, which was personalized diary, and a note that was just talking about how I appreciate him and how I know we've been friends for so long, blah, blah, blah. And in response to that gesture, he then said, you know what, I think we should try being in a relationship. That's how we got into that relationship.
Okay.
Tinto, you're letting me go on and on. No questions yet.
No, not yet. I mean, the only question I would have had now would have been, didn't you see this guy liked you? But, you know, I was waiting for that to land, and, you know, it has somewhat landed through your friend.
Yeah, but it you know, it felt like I initiated us being in a relationship.
Okay.
In as much as I saw, like, he did all the things to show me that he cared or he was interested, but he never really like said, can we be in a relationship?
Okay.
Yeah. So after that, we dated for like 4 months, and then it ended. So it was okay. I didn't see anything wrong or anything that I could point at to say why we broke up. Honestly, I never had closure, because it kind of like just ended. He ended it, of course, but then he really didn't say anything. That, like, we had a minor argument. I don't even remember what the argument was about, but
Yeah.
like, couples fight, and we just had one of those arguments. And during that argument, he just said, you know what, I think in order to preserve the friendship that we've always had, I would rather not be in a relationship with you because I'm not willing to lose the friend that I have.
Right. Okay. So he was breaking up with you to preserve the friendship.
Sort of. That's how he made it come across to me. Yeah. Which didn't make sense to me because I told him, you know, couples fight all the time. It doesn't mean they should break up. But then we did. And then, you know, when you date someone who's been your friend, you never get back to the friendship. So then the friendship we never got back to being friends anyway after that. Because it was never the same again. And then fast forward, I think 2 years later, I moved away from my home country to another country.
Yeah.
And then, like, we didn't talk for like a whole 2 years. And then he reached out. After that, he was like, hi, do you mind if I call you? It's all right. I gave him my number. He called. He just said, you know what, I've been feeling so bad about what happened. I should have, like, handled things better. I was a coward. I felt like I owe you an explanation, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, it's all right. It's fine. And then after that, he started, like, consistently calling and communicating. And then it felt like we just went back to that friend zone.
What did he say his explanation was for breaking up with you?
He said he felt like at that time he wasn't capable of taking care of me. Like he was failing to be there for me. Like, I think he gave one example of how he couldn't even provide for me basic things that he could have provided for as a boyfriend. And he felt like he was not capable of being a boyfriend at that time.
So did you ask him why he asked you out in the first place? Because you guys were doing okay as friends until, you know, you got the diary. And then it's like, oh yeah, let's try this thing. Did you?
I didn't ask because in my mind I felt like I'm the one who pushed him to ask because of the diary.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So in my mind I was like kind of blaming myself to say maybe if I had not done that, we would have just continued as friends. So I kind of like pushed him into doing it. Okay. So before I moved, I forgot this part. There was a time he called, I think a year later after we broke up, there was a time he called, but I had moved on. I was in a relationship then. And then he called. So I saw his number. I was actually with my current boyfriend at that time. I was out with my current boyfriend, and then he called. I answered the phone, and it was a female voice at the other end of the line, and he said it was his sister. Who said, "Hi, Makoti. I just wanted to say hi." And I was like, I'm really sorry. I can't talk right now, and please never call me again because it didn't like sit well with my then boyfriend.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then he then sent a text later to say, I'm really sorry. I was talking with my sister and she was asking me about my love life and I told her about you and that how I messed things up and she just asked if she could call you and talk to you. I didn't know you had moved on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So after that, he never called again until after I had moved to another country. And then after I had moved, he then said, okay, before we broke up, by the time we broke up, we had planned a holiday. He had planned a holiday before the first breakup. He had planned a holiday for us. And then by the time we broke up, the holiday was all planned, booked and everything. And then we didn't go because we had broken up. So now when he came back, he then raises that issue again to say, I'm actually thinking, you know what, when are you coming back this side? Because I feel like I still owe you a holiday. Then I was like, no, you don't owe me anything because that was like within the relationship. And then we are not dating anymore, so you don't really owe me anything. I was like, no, it's okay, but I still feel like I need to do that. If not for you, then for me, I need to do it because, you know, I just wronged you. And when are you coming this side? And I told him I had no plans of coming anytime soon. And then he asked me like if he could buy me the ticket, if I would come, if he bought me a plane ticket. And then I Yeah, I was tempted, but then I said no, because in my mind I also felt like if he bought me a plane ticket, then it would mean I would go home, and then maybe probably I wouldn't be able to visit my friends or my family, because this is the person who has bought me the ticket. So
Right.
obviously my time will kind of be limited to what he wants, because he's the one who has bought me the ticket. So I told him, no, it's fine. When I do come, I'll let you know. When I do have plans to come back home, I'll let you know. And then he said, fine. And then that was last year. Yeah. He started calling, I think, beginning of 2023. And like we would constantly talk, video calls, everything almost on a daily basis. And then when I did finally plan to go back home, I told him, you know what, I think I might have a holiday next year in April. This is 2024. So I might be coming home in April. And then he said, oh, that's fine then. So it means we can start planning on that trip. And said, no, it's fine. But I'm not sure if my budget allows me to do that, because considering the plane ticket, buying stuff for people back home, I don't think I'll be able to go on a holiday. He said, no, you know what? I'm the one who brought up this holiday issue. So all expenses on me. You don't have to worry about anything. Just bring yourself. And I'm thinking, okay, like I know what this guy does. I don't think he has that much money to do all that. But anyway, since he's saying so, it's okay. And then, so because of the nature of his job, he then like used to get discounts on certain like things like accommodation, activities, and stuff at that particular holiday resort. So that's how he explained it to me. It's not that expensive for me because I get all of the things at a discounted price because of the nature of my job.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, that's all right. So then we started planning for the holiday. And then at some point while planning for the holiday, I thought, wait, I've never asked this guy about his love life, where he is at the moment, because I'm thinking, okay, what if he's in a relationship and is planning to go on a holiday with me? How does that work? And then I asked him, like, you know what? I just thought I've never asked you about what's happening in your life right now. Do you have somebody? Are you not like, what's happening in your life at the moment? And then he said, well, there was someone, but not anymore. And I said, okay, when was that? Then he said, no, just, it's something that just recently happened. Okay. And then I said, what happened? He said, no, I'm not really willing to go into details about it because, you know, it's still like fresh. I said, okay. So I said, okay, so how is you going on a holiday with me helping? Like, are you guys not trying to fix things or what? Like, is this not going to complicate anything in your life? And he said, no, me going on this holiday is actually thinking about me for once, because this person that I was with was a very selfish, self-centered person, always thinking about herself. I tried to make her happy, but she was never appreciative. So for now, I'm thinking about myself and I want to do what makes me happy, and going on holiday with you is going to make me happy. I said, okay, that's fine. No worries. And then he was like, you know, like he would send me like pictures, links for like Airbnbs, hotels, to say choose which one you like, which one do you want, so I can make a reservation and stuff. Then we did all that. He told me I'm making some bookings, I'm doing all that. That's fine. Then he asked me, who is picking you up from the airport? Then I told him, I'm talking to some people with cars to see if I can just pay someone to come and pick me up. Because now from the airport that I was landing at and where he stayed, it was like a 4 to 5 hour drive.
Wow.
Yeah, so he says, okay, let me think about this and then I'll get back to you tomorrow. And then tomorrow he calls, he says, okay, have you talked to that person who's going to be picking you up from the airport? I said, yes. And he said, okay, can you cancel? Have you paid anything yet? I said, no. He said, okay, I'll pick you up from the airport. And I said, oh, it's far. You will need fuel, you will need toll gates money, you will need like, it's a 5 hour drive, a 4 hour drive at least. So I don't think, like, considering you're planning a holiday as well and all expenses on you, it's okay, don't worry. He said, no, it's okay, I'm the one who is offering, don't even worry about my pocket or what, I'll come and pick you up from the airport. I said, okay, that's fine. So I cancelled my plans, my original plans, with the person who was supposed to pick me up. Then he said he was going to pick me up from the airport. So I was landing at 6:30 p.m. and where I stay is like 3 hours from the airport, I think. Yeah, the town where I stay. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna sleep in that town and then continue with the journey tomorrow because it's going to be late probably after all the checks and stuff. Maybe I'll leave the airport probably 7:30 to 8, depending on how busy it will be. So I wouldn't want you to drive at night considering you drove all the way for 5 hours. And also I would just be tired. I want to rest and then go home tomorrow morning. It's like, no, that's all right. And then, so I booked a place for that night. And then one of the reasons why I never really thought twice about it was I know this guy. Remember, I've known this guy ever since I was like 15 and on a friendship basis. So me booking a place where I would spend the night with him was not really a matter of thinking hard about it to say, is this okay? Should I book like a 2-bedroom or anything? It was just like, we need a place to sleep until we continue with the journey tomorrow. That's what happened. So I booked the place and he came to the airport, called me to say, I'm here. And he brought like a bouquet of red roses. It was really sweet. And then, he picked me up, said hi. We went to that place and we talked. Like, because we hadn't met for like a long time. So we had a lot to talk about. And then he says, like I said before, for me, this holiday also, I think, is going to be a time for us to like catch up and most probably bond over like the time that we have lost. And I really feel like you and me can work, but we just have a lot of things to discuss and talk about. And that's why I really booked this holiday, because I feel like we need to spend time together. So it was supposed to be a 3-day holiday. We just need time to catch up and talk. And then I asked him, okay, what makes you think what happened before won't happen now? Because last time you just like quit out of the blue. And then he said, because now I'm more mature. I was young then, and now I'm more mature. And I know what I want. And I said, okay, that's fine. So we spent the night there. And then tomorrow morning, we drove from that town to my place. He dropped me off in town, and then he went over to his town. And then he was supposed to, I think I was just supposed to stay at home for 4 days and then go for the holiday. So when he just said, I'll call you to plan how we're going to go about it. If I'll come and pick you up from your place, or if you're going to catch public transport to come to my town and then we drive to the place. And I said, that's fine. And then he dropped me off at home. And then he went Mia.
Oh.
He just disappeared. So I was thinking, okay, well, first 2 days, I thought maybe it's just giving me time to catch up with family, considering like I haven't been home for a long time. Like, when you've been with someone and you've been communicating on a constant like basis, and then he just disappears and you can feel this person is just disappeared. I was like, okay. I would text him, hi, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Like, it just changed. I could tell there was really a huge change, but I couldn't like point to say what is it. But then there was a change in the communication. And then on the day that we were supposed to, I think on the previous day when we were due to go the following day, I called him to say, okay, how are we traveling tomorrow? Because I'm still waiting for an update. And he says, I'll call you. He didn't call me. He didn't text, nothing. Now, because I'm someone also who's come home, I've got a family to see, I've got relatives and friends to visit. So obviously I've got 2 weeks holiday. My schedule is like just centered around the 2 weeks. I need to plan. So I know on these 3 days we're going on holiday. It means I'm going to visit my grandmother on this day. I'm going to see my friend on this day. I have like limited days. So I need like I need a solid plan to know how to go about my days. And then he's not saying anything. I'm like, dude, I need to know what's going on, because I also need a car and I was going to hire a car to go where I wanted to go. So I was like, if I take this car and then we go on the holiday, it means I'm going to be charged for the days that I did not use it.
Yeah.
So I need you to communicate, let me know what's going on so that I know when to take the car. And he says, yeah, I'll call you. And then he didn't call me, nothing. Quiet, nothing. And then the following day, he sends me, I think he wrote like a text message on his note page on his phone, took a shot, and then sent that. And then he says, hi Maraki, I'm sorry I haven't been communicating. I just wanted to let you know I was drunk. Like, okay, this person, as far as I know him, he doesn't drink. He's never been a drinking person in his life, from what I knew. Going on to lesson 2. So he says, I was drunk last night, so I couldn't respond to your message. Well, I didn't tell you, but now I'm now a drunkard. So I didn't want you to like dwell on someone that you don't really know. So I'm like, okay, but how does this have anything to do with the holidays? Like, you're just telling me who you are and now you're a drunkard. But we're talking about the holiday. And then he didn't respond. Just like that. So there was, we have a mutual friend. We had a mutual friend. This guy also, like, we grew up together from when we were 15. So this guy has always known the kind of relationship that I had with him. So now he wasn't responding, not saying anything. So I texted this guy to say, you know what, this is what happened. He said, yeah, I know. You told me about you coming, that he was going to pick you up from the airport and you were going on holiday. So. And then I told him, now he's nowhere to be found. He's just like ghosting me. And then he says, oh, okay, I'll call him and try to find out what's going on. And then he calls him. And then he said, so when he picked up from my airport, I had stuff that I needed to drop in that town for a friend of mine. And then when we met this friend of mine and I gave her the things, the friend was like asking a lot of questions about him, talking to him. Like when he met him, when she met him, she was like, hi, so are you going back with her? Where she, like, when she, like, you know, our friends are just trying to create conversation. And then, so he tells this mutual friend that I met her friend in town yesterday and she was just asking a lot of questions, like trying to push me to do something, you know, like it was just a turn off for me. So that's why I've ghosted her, which didn't make sense to me as well. I was like, okay, so if he feels like my friend was asking a lot of questions and sort of pushing him to do something, I don't know what he's saying, but still it doesn't make sense to me. How does he ghost me over something that my friend said? And then he said, yeah, that's what he said, but I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. And I said, okay, that's fine. So this is now a few days after we were supposed to go to the holiday. We didn't go for the holiday. We didn't go. He didn't call, nothing, until I went back home. So he didn't
communicate anything at all about the holiday? Wow.
Nothing at all. And Tinto, you know, I had like prepared for this holiday. I had, you know, when you're going on holiday, you need to do some little bit of shopping and stuff. I even spent money that I was not supposed to spend on that because he had reassured me that this was happening. And remember, I didn't ask him to take me on any holiday. He did. And then the last text I sent him was, you know what? I don't know why he decided to ghost me, but all I can tell you is this was never about the holiday. If I wanted to go there, I can afford to do that. I could have planned to go there by myself, but it was about you and as a friend trying to, you know, create time for us to get to talk like you said, you know, and then you just turning around and ghosting me like I never existed. It's really never about the holiday if you thought it was about the holiday. That was the last text that I sent him, and he didn't respond. And then I came back. I think after a few days, that mutual friend texted me to say, you know, can you take a call? I've got news. I need to call you. I said, yeah, that's fine. And then he says, tell me when you're free. I tell him I'm free actually now. And then he calls to say, Lou is engaged.
Yay.
Like, Lou is engaged. So apparently when he picked you up from the airport, he was, I don't know, planning to get engaged in a few days' time. I was like, what? It's like, yeah. And then he actually sent me a video, like the engagement video, when he was actually proposing.
Yay.
And I said, how? Like, he literally told me he was not in a relationship, like he'd just broken up with his girlfriend, it wasn't working, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, yeah, so apparently they were fighting. And then the car that he was driving when he came to pick me up from the airport was the car that he bought after they fought with his girlfriend. I think they were close to like
Breaking up.
Lobola.
Oh, the close Lobola. Yeah.
Before they broke up, they were close to Lobola, and he used the Lobola money to buy a car.
Aye.
So that's the car that he used to come and pick me up
Wow.
from the airport. Yeah. So when he went back, apparently they sort of had like counseling. This is what this guy says. They sort of like had counseling with pastors and whatever. And they told him, you know what, you can't break up after such a long time of dating just because you have problems. So you need to make things work. And then he proposed the following morning.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah, for me, it really came as a shock because the way he was so convincing to say, you know, this is what, and like, why would you drive 5 hours to come and pick me up from the airport and spend the night with me in a hotel when you know you're getting married? Yeah. So he proposed, and then a week later, he paid Lobola.
And all of this, then you're finding out from the friend.
From the friend.
Who's just being a faithful friend, you know, to you. And I guess not so loyal to the other guy because he was now ratting out his business.
Yeah. He did say, please don't, because even the pictures like that he sent me, it was like view once pictures because he was just scared maybe I was going to forward them to him. They just said, you know, I feel like you need to know because probably you're still going to ask yourself so many questions like, what did I do? Or what did I say? It's really nothing to do with you. This guy just got married. Yeah. So, yeah. I was really shocked. Nothing from him. He never really said anything or explained anything. He just went to me.
So up until now, he hasn't said anything.
Up until now, because after I got the news, I just like blocked him on all platforms. I blocked him on all platforms. I had no way to. Because I don't know. I just blocked him from all platforms. But if he did want to communicate, I'm sure he would have found a way to. If he did want to.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And I think that ties in very, very well into the lessons that you're saying. Where you say that men know what they want no matter how shy or reserved they are. Because if this guy really wanted something to happen with you, let's limit it to just the holiday. Forget the romance and all of that. Right? If you really wanted the holiday to happen, he would have made it happen.
It would have happened, yeah.
Because now what he's doing is confirming he really doesn't want it to happen because it's going to mess things up with his fiancée. Exactly. So he had a choice on what he wants to materialize versus what he doesn't want to materialize.
Exactly.
The more I think about it, I think that was more a selfish move on his part just to appease his conscience. To say that in the past, the past, I messed things up in quotes. I promised someone something I couldn't deliver on. So now if I try and attempt to remake that promise, I might make myself feel better about the situation, but it feels to me like it's made it even worse.
He's made it even worse because I was just going about my business, not looking for him, not talking to him. He's the one who went through all the pressure to look for me, call me like constantly, video call. You know, we would talk to, you know, when someone is in a relationship, right? You would see, maybe this person who is calling me calls at a certain point of time and at this time is not reachable. We would talk for like video calls from 9 o'clock after I leave work. We'll talk for like 2-3 hour video calls. And I'm like, there is no way this guy is in a relationship. Because how can you be in a relationship and you're talking to me at these odd hours and be in a relationship? There is no way.
You know,
but apparently he was.
In a funny way, you got off lucky in quotes, and that you never ended up getting a phone call from his fiancée.
Yeah.
Because that's what normally happens. That is something.
But also on that note, I feel like I also feel sorry for the fiancé because if the person, I don't know, maybe I'm being judgmental or something, but if the person that claims to love you actually goes on a 5-hour long trip to pick someone else from the airport, spends the nights with them, and you know nothing about it. Do you even know who you are marrying?
Yeah. Did you guys do anything the night that you guys spent together?
No, by doing anything, what do you mean by doing anything? We kissed.
Mm.
Yeah, we kissed. No, we didn't have sex, but we kissed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, nah.
we kissed. We kissed, and he gave me like a massage as someone who had been on a long flight and stuff.
You know, you didn't need to add that as somebody who had been on a long flight, whatever, Jenny. Just say that guy gave me a massage. This is the thing you're trying to.
There was a reason behind it.
Where you just wanted to, you wanted to lay some hands. You wanted. Did he undress you?
Yeah.
Okay, so he wanted to see you naked. He wanted to feel you naked, and okay. Let's say you were tired, and you felt this is the perfect opportunity for me to get some form of relaxation.
Yeah.
So, and I know we're not analyzing this too much or trying not to, etc. But I guess it worked in his favor. That one, if he's out of town, then he's not seen with you. So his fiance is not going to have any questions. It was convenient. You felt safe with him being in that space because you had spoken to him before and he was familiar. So you were okay getting undressed. Did you say he hinted that he wanted to try again?
Yeah. He didn't hint. He actually said it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, and this was before he got you undressed.
Yeah.
So did you feel safer becoming undressed because he had said that?
I think so.
Okay. So, he says that he gets you undressed, he touches you up, you guys kiss, drops you off, goes about his business. As far as you was concerned, maybe his ego had been stroked the way that he just wanted to, and he had made peace with himself that, okay, I somewhat delivered a bit of the holiday, except that the holiday happened in a location that we didn't expect. I made someone feel relaxed. That's just the way it's coming across to me.
No, really, no, that would really be selfish, honestly. How is that even delivering part of the holiday?
Well, for himself. No, not for you.
What?
Not for you, because holiday is really time away from us familiar, right? He was familiar with wherever he comes from.
Yeah.
And he's come to you, so he has had a holiday.
Wow.
And then on top of that, he got to, to feel you around.
So I got played. I got played.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Because if he ghosted you and didn't even feel bad about ghosting you and didn't say anything about ghosting you.
But then that's why I'm saying, okay, so maybe stop living in the past. Because for me, in my head, I had this picture of someone who cares because he's always cared. Even outside the wanting me, the friendship part, like I said, he's always been there for me as a friend. That's the part that I think that hurt me the most, because to me, it was the being disappointed by a friend.
Yeah. Okay. No, I see that. Yeah, and I see how that can be very disappointing, and you're very trusting.
Yeah.
What an absolute shame.
I put him on a pedestal because for me, even when I would get into relationships before this whole thing, I would be like, if a relationship if it didn't work out, I'd be like, you know what? I think there's one guy who is there in my life who, if things were to really get back to where they were, it would work, because there's this one guy who to me felt like had been constant, and he's the one who's just not drama, has no baggage. He's just loving and caring. That's the kind of picture that I had of him in my head. So the only little hope that I had on love died when he did that.
He's going to be back, right?
Nah.
No, he is. He'll find a way. I know you've blocked him and stuff. But yeah, somehow he knows what he did was a bit messed up. And he just sounds like the kind of guy who wants to appease his conscience and feel better about himself. So in order for him to do that, he might find a little tiny window somewhere just to say, hey, Maraki, listen, I'm sorry about how I handled that. Because remember, he came saying that he's sorry that he never got to do the holiday that he promised you.
Yeah.
He's going to come back and say, sorry, I did that again. but I was, this is what was happening, and I felt shy and I felt bad about it. Please forgive me. This is not who I am.
Wow.
Hit me up when he does that, because I'm fairly confident it's going to happen.
I will. I doubt, but I will. Yeah. I just feel like that lesson where I said stop living in the past. Maybe the person that I knew in my head is not that person anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe the caring part and the what part died in him, and he's now the I don't care person now. So he really doesn't care whether he had me or not. To him, life goes on. Nothing happened.
What a shame. I'm sorry about that, Maraki.
Yeah.
No.
It's the Maraki from where you come from does not from where I come from does not count here.
No.
There's no Maraki over here.
Well, you might be lucky in the sense that you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Don't do Maraki yako.
Yeah.
That things could have gone really, really bad if maybe if you had followed through with the holiday and you guys had gone a step further and you decided to not just undress but
and then you would have still went along to it would have had more.
Correct. So you've got somewhat a level of Maraki there. That's how I'll take it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, thanks for sharing that with me, Maraki. And just to play your lessons back, number one, never put anyone on a pedestal. I think that is fair to say because of what you remembered him to be in the past. And then which ties into lesson number two, stop living in the past because the person you knew yesterday might not be the same person tomorrow. People change. Now you recognize the change and you can act on what you know, right? And then last but not least, men know what they want. He wanted to touch you up, that's for sure. And no matter how shy or reserved they are, they don't need your help. And you're right. He really didn't need your help trying to arrange a car and trying to get the holiday sorted because already he knew that he wasn't going to turn up anyway.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, you guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I look forward to catching you in next week's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chagizai.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chagizai.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motoru no to kujiziru amai.
Kujiziru amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru no to kujiziru amai.